Hey everybody, welcome back to Over 40 Travel. This is episode 2 entitled Getting There, in which we take our second step toward planning your dream vacation. Quick recap, in episode 1, The Dream, we discussed visualizing your dream vacation and preparing for more of a planning marathon than a sprint. We also discussed some of the factors that can get in the way of making your dream vacation become a reality, like you, your coworkers, your friends, family, and even possibly your life partner. We discussed some of the perceived challenges of planning an international trip and how we overcome them. We touched on how we finance a trip, a budget of course, and the power of a detailed itinerary. So let's pour a big mug of coffee, open up that laptop, PC, Mac, whatever you got, and begin the trip planning process, which is my favorite part, and which I call travel research. Now, story time. So we've actually been to Positano before, in May of 2019. We took a flight from Phoenix to
LAX to Sweden. We had a 5-hour layover in Sweden, so 5 hours was just enough time for us to head downtown, and with the help of Google Maps, check out the sites, check out a couple of shops, check out City Hall. Then we had to get back on the train, get back on the plane, take a 3-hour flight into Rome. We checked into our hotel room, had a good dinner. The next morning, we headed to the train station. We took a bullet train to Naples, where a driver met us and took us to Herculaneum and Pompeii. We spent just a few hours at Pompeii, not nearly enough time to explore the vast city. Then we headed down the coast to Positano, where we checked into the Hotel Palazzo Marina. Next morning, we were supposed to take a ferry, but the weather had another idea, and it rained us out. Luckily, we got a chance to explore Positano because, believe it or not, I did not put that in our itinerary. If it wasn't for the rain, I wouldn't have seen any of Positano. So luckily, we got to spend a little time in Positano, just in time to have dinner, wake up the next morning, get back on the train, head back to Rome. Then we took our flight from Rome to Santorini, but we never made it to Santorini. We made it as far as Athens Airport, where we had to sleep overnight in the Burger King due to weather. The next day, we did make it, and we stayed at the beautiful Santorini Secret Hotel and Spa. And believe it or not, we only spent a few hours in that wonderful pool before we headed into town to do a little bit of shopping, play and pet the kitties, of course. We then had to head back to the hotel to get changed for our sunset cruise. We were on a catamaran for a couple hours, got to watch the sunset, and then we headed back into port, had dinner, woke up the next morning, climbed a lot of steps, and headed back to the airport, where we caught our flight back to Rome, and we checked into our hotel, then we went to a local train, then we headed to Frascati, where we met our guide, Paolo, and she took us to our pizza class, and then we had to say goodbye to her, and then we headed into town to catch our train, not before we stopped and had some gelato, and of course got the trees again. The next morning we woke up, and took a flight back to Spain. 13-hour flight from Rome to LAX.
We're not going to do that again. That is a perfect example of over-planning, and we will not make that mistake again. This time we are taking it nice and easy. We are going to relax and enjoy ourselves and go up and down the Amalfi Coast. And our first planning task on this epic trip is to Google it. I know. Bear with me. Believe it or not, the first thing I do is I type how to get from A to B. In this case, how do I get from Phoenix, where we live, to the Amalfi Coast? Now, if you do that, simple task, just type in where you are, where you want to go. Depending on your browser, you're going to come up with a lot of different results. Now, in Google, the first thing you get are ads. Up at the top here, I see I've got ITA Airways. That's the Italian airline. Makes sense, we're going to the Amalfi Coast. And then underneath that, you'll start to see, for instance, Rome to Rio, which is a great site, by the way, we'll look at that later. It tells you how to get to places, how to get ferries and trains and everything else. And also the section on People Also Ask, which are just questions like, what hotel is the best hotel? What airport do I fly into? Right now it's saying Naples, of course. Naples is the closest to the Amalfi Coast, so we'll definitely check out flying into Naples. As you page down, you'll see different flight search engines, such as Orbitz, Cheap Flights, Expedia. They're all listed towards the bottom there, and you can tap on those and you can see different flights, different prices. Highly recommend that. Also, Skyscanner is a great site. And you also see a lot of different vlogs. So I recommend that you bookmark all of these and look at them when you get a little bit of time. Depending on what platform you use, whether it's a PC or a Mac, you might have different search engines like Safari or Chrome. or Edge. So I mostly use Google and Edge because I'm on a PC, but Edge will look a little bit different than Chrome will. So we'll type in the same thing, how do we get from Phoenix to the Amalfi Coast? But on Microsoft's Edge, when it pops up here, you'll see, looks like a travel agency on the top, and then of course you get down to the section, same thing, Rome to Rio. It's a great site, we'll look at that. And if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll get more of a description from Bing about the Amalfi Coast itself. You'll get different questions people are asking. It's just the same but different. So pick out whatever browser you like the best and then experiment. I know that seems like a lesson from Captain Obvious, but it's a tremendous amount of information you compile just by typing in a simple phrase. How do I get from Phoenix to the Amalfi Coast? So in the next episode, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into the actual flights and how to get from point A to point B. Thank you so much for watching, and check out our earlier episodes, and we'll see you next time on Over 40 Travel.